Will the Minister update the House on how the government is ensuring Australia's national security by increasing defence spending to 2% of gross domestic product? What are the risks and what is at stake for Australia's national security if this program isn't delivered in full?
The Minister for Defence.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for North Sydney for his question. I believe today might be his 50th birthday, so congratulations to the member for North Sydney, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, it is critically important that we fund the government's build-up of our military capability in full and into the future. Several years ago, we made the decision, Mr Speaker, that we would fund a build-up of our military capability, the largest in our peacetime history, costing from this year $200 billion over the next 10 years and taking the spending on defence to 2% of gross domestic product by 2020, a year earlier than we had initially promised, Mr Speaker. That's why we put in place the structure to give people certainty, whether it's foreign governments, state and territory governments, the defence industry, the Australian government through the ADF and the Department of Defence. We set in place the structure through a white paper, through the Integrated Investment Plan, the Naval Shipbuilding Plan, the Defence Export Strategy, the Defence Industrial Capability Plan, so that everyone knows how we are building up our military by $200 billion over the next 10 years, giving us the security we need to be a good ally to the United States, to have the capability to influence our region, to be the regional security power in terms of submarines, for example, to have the regionally superior submarines, and we decided to use it as well to drive high-technology jobs, manufacturing jobs throughout our economy, and it is working, Mr Speaker. It's working very well. But we can only do it because we have budgetary management under control, under the Treasurer and before him the Prime Minister, because we have a growing economy that gives us the financial capability, the heft, to invest that $200 billion to reach 2% of GDP. And it was a very, very different story, Mr Speaker, under the previous Labor government. In the previous Labor government, Mr Speaker, from 2007 to 2013, the Labor Party used defence as a piggy bank to take money from defence and to use it for other priorities in the government. And you know that spending under Labor on defence dropped to the lowest levels since 1938, the last year of appeasement before the Second World War, Mr Speaker. 1.56% of GDP in comparison to the 2% that we'll be spending by 2020. But we can do it because we have a growing economy, because we have strong budgetary management, and because we have a plan to deliver that military capability and the jobs that it entails.